Hi guys, Sam here. Look, I'm a bit rough and shabby today. I've just got back, stepped off the plane from a great hotspot up in Queensland. In fact, Queensland's got a couple of areas which I've identified as really good investment hotspots. They're real good regional marketplaces. They're strong because of the supply and demand situation in those townships. In fact, there's just not enough available land. There's too many workers in the town and rents are going through the roof. Now, if I asked you this one important question, what makes a good property investment to you? I'd love to hear your response. Because I can tell you in 2013, for me, what makes a great property investment is a potent combination of good rental returns and great capital growth. And I believe the opportunity in this particular township is going to represent both those key fundamentals that build a portfolio. If you could own a property that was going to grow exponentially in rent the year that you own it, you're going to do pretty well. If the following year the property goes up in value, you're going to do pretty well. So that's what I'm concentrating on. That's what I'm looking for in the dynamics of the property market. As you can see on the screen behind me, we have a property cycle, and it's really important, and we teach all our positive real estate investors to always buy on the right side of that property cycle, where yields are rising and where construction prices are at their lowest and where you can push the value to the highest. Look, Australia's economy today, there's so many good things happening. We've turned this country into a highly paid workforce. Higher wages means pressure on house prices. If we can find an area where the wages are really growing and there's going to be impact to that wage growth, it's really going to be shown on the associated housing. So this particular marketplace, the wages are starting to increase, the construction is starting to increase, there is a lot of money hitting that town, and you're not buying at the bust period of the cycle. It's definitely going to be the boom part of the cycle. I can tell you there's so many other fundamentals that are really making the market in a lot of parts of the country tick, from undersupply to extra population growth to infrastructure movements. It's all happening out in the marketplace. So look, I've put my top investment hotspots on your screen today, and the township that I'm working on today is actually Emerald. It's number 3 on the list, and as you can see, Perth, Brisbane, Emerald, Mackay, Newcastle, Sydney, the Midwest being Mudgee, Bathurst, Orange, up in the northern parts of New South Wales in the Gunnedah, Narrabri precinct, Toowoomba, great marketplaces, and look, some roughies, Ipswich, Bunbury, Bendigo, all doing pretty well. Let's focus in on the Mackay market. On your screen, you can see for yourself the amount of activity when it comes to both mining, gas, petroleum, you name it. The Queensland basins have huge amounts of economic fundamentals as to why they exist. Now, I can tell you overseas, these particular areas are becoming more and more indoctrinated into other countries' activities. In fact, Emerald is now really considered part of the Indian economics. In fact, India needs a lot of good coke and coal, so it can itself combine that with iron ore and make steel. Now, of course, steel builds cities, and in emerging companies in an urbanized world, cities are the easiest way to deliver a huge population and bring them out of poverty into the middle classes. So you're going to see a lot of activity over in the emerging countries, China, India. India, and a huge Indian-based company called Adani, has planted itself in and around Emerald, and that is why we're focusing on this particular township, because just recently news broke first hand from the federal government. They've signed the leases with the Adani company. Things are about to go into production. $11 billion project for one particular small township, which is pretty cool. So what is it going to be? It's going to be the largest open cut mine in the world, and that's essentially a coal mine on your screen. Actually $10 billion, not 11, but it's still a huge amount of money. So why Emerald? Well, look, all the major players are there. Clive Palmer, Waratah Coal, Gina Reinhardt, Hancock Coal. the Brazilian mining giant Vale's there, the Indian giants Adani are there, the Chinese company Meijing Energy. Emerald has got a lot of activity happening around it. And why I like Emerald, the prices haven't surged as much based on the fact that there's been a bit of stagnant activity in Emerald, and now's the time to get in and shop in that particular marketplace. I also like it, and it's very different to other mining towns which you might be more familiar with, such as Moranbah, Dysart. Those particular areas are what we call a one-trick pony town. They don't have any other fundamentals of being there other than a mining or coal mining exploration activities. And we've seen how boom and bust those towns can be. They can expand because the rents go up, but they can also contract very quickly when an organisation or a mining company changes its policies. And we've seen that in Moranbah, and anyone who does a quick Google search of Moranbah today would see the great boom and bust that happened to that marketplace. Will that happen to Emerald? Will your money be safe in a market like this? Well, absolutely, because Emerald is a very diverse economy. 17% of the market is made up of mining. 70% is actually made up of professional services. 15% retail, 10% construction, agriculture, tourism, health, you name it. It's actually happening in this particular township. There is a lot of reasons why this township exists other than just mining. And so I've got some good research from the Matusik Foundation, which I'm supplying to you on the screen. And I can tell you the jobs are starting to increase in Emerald. Things are starting to move. In fact, Emerald currently houses about 20,000 people, but that, which is a good population base for any township, but the pressure's on and the land is not coming out quick enough. And in fact, most people that have to get involved in buying an Emerald at the moment have to buy unregistered blocks of land because there's absolutely no supply on the market today. And that's what we look for in a marketplace. If there's too much land registered and it's sitting around doing nothing, that usually means there's not enough activity in the market. If there's more activity than land registered, that's a good sign. And that's why we're looking at trying to get some investors an opportunity in this particular marketplace. So where is Emerald? Well, Emerald's just inland from Gladstone, Rockhampton, and essentially a lot of its activity is based around also the port upgrades up in Mackay. So it's all connected, and that's what making it a pretty good marketplace. Emerald's not as isolated as one may think. In fact, one of the market movers we look for in any real estate market is the frequency of flights. If flights are declining, usually that means people don't want to go to an area. The economics in their area may be strained, and that's one thing that's not happening in Emerald. Flights are actually increasing in the Emerald marketplace. Both Qantas and Virgin fly jets in there up to 6 times a day from Brisbane. So you need to understand there's a lot of activity, and it's always a healthy sign if airlines are making money out of people travelling to the economics of another town. And so I can tell you a great market mover is airlines. A little tip, get onto Google Alerts and watch airline frequencies change. It's pretty cool. So look, this is really shows the Emerald marketplace over the last couple of years, and as we can see, it's been quite stagnant. There hasn't been the huge peaks and troughs. Commodity boom's gone up, and really we're still in quite a flat market, which is about to recover and go up. And one thing we look for in a market cycle, particularly for a mining market cycle, is the best place to buy. And for us, that is usually what happens is, number one on the property market cycle of a mining market is there's an announcement made and investors sort of rush in. Then what happens, there's either a period of that project not taking off, and that stagnates the marketplace. So people sort of sitting around waiting, nothing's happening. But then the project gets full approval and construction starts, and that is the optimum time to buy in one of these sort of regional hotspots. So look guys, right now things have been approved, construction is getting underway, there's thousands of workers expected to hit this particular area to build this mine activity. It's not enough housing. I can tell you, if you look for an investment over the medium term and you're looking for an interesting type of investment which is going to get you good growth and more importantly good cash flow, this area could work for you. I know the guys in the acquisitions team have put together only 2 properties because it's just so hard to get new properties for people. It's just virtually impossible. So we've only got an allocation of 2, I believe. And that's indicative of the market. There just isn't enough properties to go around. I hope you enjoyed my talk on Emerald, and I'll catch you soon.